Hey, what's up guys? It's Zach here. For this season we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Sorry for the delay in getting this content up here, but we had no winter whatsoever, so no ice racing. We had to change all our plans as to what we're going to do, and actually this season we're going to do something just a bit different. We're going to shoot it like a vlog, and what that's going to allow us to do is not spend so much time editing video, and it's going to allow us to get content up like crazy. And we have a ton of cool stuff to show you guys. We got nitrous, we got coilovers, we got we're going to tear into the motor here and show you guys what it looks like, see if the motor's blown. Just a ton of really cool stuff. So if you guys like it, post in the comments below, let me know what's going on, and let's start tearing into the race car. Here's a little tip for you guys if you haven't done it already with all your tools. Let's go ahead and on both sides, on the holder for all your sockets, just literally just write all the sizes on the back. And it may not seem like a big deal, but it actually saves you quite a bit of time looking for the right size. Of course, you guys know all these coil pack nuts, they're all 10 millimeter. Alright, let's get these coil packs out. Alright, that's the last of them. Alright, so what do you guys think? What are we going to find on the inside here? The only thing I'm really thinking about is we're hearing a ticking noise. It almost sounds like the chain's hitting on the bottom side of the valve cover sometimes. Let's see what it looks like. The motor sounds better, but can't really say it looks any different from the last time we were in here. I definitely think in some places it's definitely cleaned up a bit. I think the detergents and the oil are really helping out with that. These plug wires out of the way. So all in all, I think it might actually be working the more I look at this here. This stuff feels like it's easier to come off than it was the first time we were in here. Yeah, definitely. So, and as for our chain tensioner here, looks like the guides are intact. That was another thing that I was thinking is maybe they were broken, but it definitely feels really loose. So this is what I thought I was hearing. I thought I was hearing the chain slapping against the metal on the inside here, but I don't know if you guys can see that just as well, but I'm not seeing any sign. I mean, it literally sounded like the chain was slapping against the top half of this valve cover. For sure, our paint job really didn't hold up that well. It's all cracking off, so I might have to give that another shot. But all in all, I'm kind of happy. The motor looks a bit healthier, and the chain wasn't hitting, but we're definitely going to have to do something about this chain tensioner. Try to get you guys a good shot here, really nice and close. If you look closely there, you can see that little tiny pinhole, and that's actually for a piece of wire to slide through to take the tension off that chain. So let's see if I can do that here for you guys. I'm actually going to use a flat-headed screwdriver to push down on the tensioner, take that tension off, and then I'm going to slide through this little it's almost like an eyeglass repair kit screwdriver. Pretty much the only thing small enough I found that would fit. So now that that's in place, you can see now we've taken all the tension off this chain. You guys are definitely going to want to invest and one of these ratcheting wrenches here. It's pretty much the only thing. Again, I'll try to get you guys a good shot here. This little guy on the inside here. I don't know how good this zoom is going to work, but let's give it a shot. That's the little guy I'm searching for there. I'm actually going to need a flathead to keep this swivel end from swiveling while I put enough tension on. There we go. There we go. Turn and twist until I get this past the timing chain, and make sure I don't lose this lower bolt in the process. And there you go. There's the lower portion of that, and you guys can see here this bolt is actually quite long. Just for an idea of how nasty the inside of the motor still is, you can barely see the threads on this bolt. It's so covered in gunk and whatnot, leftover oil. So let's go ahead and get this thing all cleaned up and see if we can't add a little more tension to this. I'm getting everything perfectly clean here. There's old oil remnants all over just literally everything inside here. I didn't even know this bolt was gold before I started. Spring looks like it's in good shape. I mean, it's probably you know, not springy anymore or whatever. But I think what we can do here, just like we did on the other timing chain tensioner, is I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna see if I can get a couple of washers to essentially add more tension to this, so that when we put everything back together, you know, obviously this will be it'll have more tension. Here are the pieces we have of the upper timing chain tensioner, and one more bolt right there. So let's run to the hardware store, see if we can find the correct diameter washer to fit inside here, and throw it all back together and see what happens. Alright, let's take this show on the road. We're gonna hit the hardware store now. Actually probably do more do-it-yourself repairs in the nut and bolt section of the hardware store than any other parts store I can think of. So let's get this done. So let's see here. Oh, I'm dropping stuff. I know it. Perfect. All right, so that actually worked out really well. We found a perfect ID washer that actually fits just awesome. It's made out of brass, so I don't know. I mean, $100 for the tensioner or $2.36 for the washer. So we're gonna give this a shot. First, I went down and just got a few washers, and then I realized there's so much oil built up that we're actually going to lose height on the spring once we get it all cleaned out. I want you guys to check out just how much crap is inside this tensioner. It's pretty crazy. So like I said, I only noticed this once I got to the hardware store, but check this out. There's literally tons and tons of this old burnt up oil inside. Depending on how quickly I get this up on YouTube, you guys should check out AutoZone. They've got a 2-for-7 on this parts cleaner, which is a killer deal. Let that soak for a bit. Now the reason you can't put washers underneath the spring in here is because it'll keep this bottom portion from essentially bottoming out inside the tensioner, and when that happens, you can't put anything to lock this in place to reinstall it. So again, 1/8" washers inside the bottom. You can see that little silver guy in there, and we're going to compress this the whole way here. Definitely going to add a little oil to this before we button it all up, but yeah, we're almost ready to throw this thing back in the car. Alright, so here's the sequence of events for you guys. Just the empty tensioner here. You're going to rotate it towards the Vanos and slide it in and under the timing chain. So once we get that through there, you're going to essentially seat it all the way down, lift up the chain just enough to sneak by. And then we're going to drop in our spring, washer, and guide rail. Alright, start putting some bolts back in here. Shorter one in the rear. And these other two are the same length. What I'm going to use a flat-headed screwdriver, keep some down pressure on this, and then rotate the screw with my fingertip here. And now we can see this has way more tension than it did before. And now we're using just an interior pry tool, really soft plastic, and just gonna work our way around, clear off all this old RTV sealant. Make sure we don't end up with any oil in the spark plug wells. Alright, we're definitely gonna have to redo this valve cover at some point in the future. Our previous paint job really isn't holding up too well, but maybe we can throw this thing in a blast cabinet, powder coat it down the line. And for those of you guys wondering, this is just a 18 volt impact driver that I picked up. It works really well for doing small jobs like this, you know, to keep you from having to use the ratchet about 800 times. It's really not strong enough to do a lug nut, but pretty much everything but a lug nut it'll take care of. It's actually, you know, really versatile tool. And again, for all the bolts in the backhand side, I'm just going to throw on a little 3/8 extension with a 3/8 swivel and a short 10 mil, and it really makes getting to these guys a heck of a lot easier. Alright, start dropping in the coils. It's crazy, these are the definitely the original coils, but this thing pulls like crazy. I know a lot of the newer guys that have like the 335s or even the new E90s, like the 328s. They go through coils pretty regularly, but like I said, these probably have about 210,000 miles on them, which is just crazy. Now, here's where this thing really comes in handy. Alright, it's all now back together, so let's fire it up and see if that sound from underneath the valve cover's gone away. Let's check it out. So the noise we were hearing was coming from underneath the valve cover only when the motor was revved. So let's see if it's still there. Maybe we've got ourselves a Vanos problem. All right, well, maybe good news or bad news to some. For me, lets us know that the car's probably not making the power it could. So looks like we're gonna have to order up a set to rebuild the Vanos. And like I said last time, with this 391 rear end, we can get some more power out of the motor. It's gonna be even crazier. So, all right, guys, as always, thanks for watching. If you haven't done so already, make sure to mash that subscribe button below and post any questions or comments you might have about the build or future stuff that you guys would like to see. See you guys next week.